Hi, beautiful souls. Welcome to another episode of Chat with Kat, where I have real chats with real people about real life. And today we are going to talk about fight, flight, or what the fuck, an awakening journey. Let's chat today about what happens after you awaken. And this is something I've really wanted to dive into on a completely different level. First, when you awaken, it's like being reborn. You wake up one day and you see the world completely different. And you start to think, who am I? What is this world? What the fuck is going on? And after you settle in and you digest everything and you realize your whole entire perspective on life has shifted in the blink of an eye, and you start to wonder, now what? Then you start settling in and realize your whole world, your whole perspective has shifted, and you can't just turn it off and go back to the way you were before, which is kind of annoying and scary and uncertain. And it's like you're literally living in a completely different world. And then shit starts to get really real really fast. You start to question everything. Like, how did I not see this before? What is going on? How has there been so much corruption and disconnect and discord in this world? And I have never realized or seen it in this way until now. And you feel a little lost. You question your existence, the whole world around you, the relationships you hold, your job, your life. What have you been doing the past 10, 20, 30 years? Then you start digging and seeing all the things come to light that you once were not aware of. And this is where it gets really real, really fast. The corruption, the leaders, the celebrities, Holly Weird, the food system, the chemicals, everything you once thought was safe and for your betterment is now fully come to the awareness that it's not. And now what? You go down the rabbit hole real fast because once you awaken and you start to see things as they are, all of these synchronicities, all of these messages, all of your intuition is heightened. And all of a sudden, you're just drawn to all these things. Maybe it's on social media, maybe it's on the internet, maybe it's in different movies, different experiences that you start having that you're like, why is this so different? And what do I do? And then the fear starts to arise, and you feel completely lost and alone. Let me know if you have been there. Let me know what part of your journey you are on. Where are you in the stages of your awakening? Did it just happen? Do you feel lost and confused? Like, what do I do next? What the hell is going on? And where do I go from here? And that's a great question. I think back to my experience, and this really started happening probably like 6 or 7 years ago. There was little things like going off, maybe even 10, 12 years ago, where I was like, I don't really want to take prescriptions anymore. Didn't know why, just an intuitive nudge. I'm like, it doesn't really seem to help. I had sinus infections my whole life. Growing up, it was like I would take the prescription, it would settle down, and as the minute I was off of it, it would come back. And I was like, okay, well, I'm going to stop doing this because clearly it's not working. And no one could give me an explanation or a reason why or whatever. So I would just kind of like suffer through it. I'm like, well, whatever. It's sinus pain. Sometimes it feels like you're getting punched in the face, but oh well. Your body is meant to work through these processes. And I always knew deep down, I was very intuitive that the reasons I felt the way that I felt, it was like meant to be. But for a long time, I just couldn't explain it or understand it. So I stayed hidden. I stayed in my own world. Even though it felt like I was in my own world a lot of the time, I just didn't know how to explain it. And when I don't know how to explain something, I hide away. So let me know if you guys can relate to that on your journey. And then what started happening is I hit my rock bottom in 2018. I've shared the story before, and how I just lost myself. I lost connection with who I was, what I even wanted in life, what I even was enjoying, like what made me happy, what I wanted to do, who I wanted to be. It was just gone. And I felt hopeless and helpless. The one way I knew how to reconnect to myself, make myself proud, shift my mindset, feel empowered was going to the gym. I was always a fitness enthusiast. I was a personal trainer for 4 years. I loved having personal training before I was a trainer. And I just always knew I felt better going. Even on the days I didn't want to go, I just felt better. So that's where I started. Was I like, I knew this is going to work. I'm going to do that. Then I was introduced to two books, David Goggins' Can't Hurt Me and Dr. Joe Dispenza, um, Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. I read those two books literally within a few weeks, and my whole mind shifted, and it was awesome. And then when we fast forward a few years, the pandemic happened, and that is when I truly woke up. I was like, what in the tits is happening in this world? The whole thing felt corrupt. It felt planned. It felt not good. And it was tough, you guys. So for any of you who went through that period, had a really tough time mentally and emotionally, my heart goes out to you, because we all had our own struggle and our own journey during that time. I fully awakened to what is happening in this entire world. And for the last 4 years, I've just been rediscovering myself, connecting to myself, realizing how spiritual of a being that I am, that I am able to shine my light into this world, that I'm able to help others find their gifts, and that I'm highly intuitive. And I still was hiding away in this fear because there was other people online doing such a good job talking about all this stuff already. There's a guy that I follow. He's in Australia. He's absolutely amazing. He talks about Holly Weird, how to understand everything that's going on, and how everything gets exposed, and how the veil of everything is shifting. And we're living in these two different realities at all times. What is happening in the world, in the regular world, where we do the 3D experience, is you have your job, they pay you money, they take your time away. Now it's getting more and more difficult to even just keep up with the cost of living. And why is that, you guys? Because it's control. So if you're living in a state of fear right now, of lack, of scarcity, you are being controlled by everything outside of you. And it's time to wake up. It's time to take your power back. And how do you do that? You start to go within. You start to understand who you are and create your world from the inside out. Reconnect to the feelings that you want to have. For me, it's peace, love, joy, freedom. All of those things mean more to me than time and money. And bit by bit, you just chomp away at it. Just like anything else you would make a goal of in life. But it comes from a completely different experience, a completely different way of living once you awaken and you start to create this life for yourself. And it's truly magical, you guys. But it's not always the easiest thing. So here is the dark side of awakening. You go down the rabbit hole, you start to see all the videos, you start to see everything come to light. Everything that you believed to be true is now not true in your world. And you're like, it's like somebody just hit you in the face, and you're like, what do I do? How do I navigate through this? But not everyone in your circle now is in that stage. And you feel completely alone because you're like, if I go talk about all this stuff, everyone's going to think I'm crazy, one of those tinfoil conspiracy theory people. But you know what? The thing is that you can come at it from a place of compassion and understanding eventually. Because you can understand and see people for who they are once you start to truly understand yourself and why that they react and act a certain way and believe a certain thing. The thing is, you can't make people awaken with you. So you start to find a community of people. Mine was through social media. Like I mentioned, I just went through my whole social media and I only followed things that made me feel good. And if people started posting things that were negative, complaining, victim mentality, bullying, cutting people down, um, I want to say like battling narratives, but in a very conflicting way that didn't feel good. Like you're trying to purposely put the other person down to be right. All of it was gone. My social media, I feel like, is such a community. There's so much connection, there's so much support, and people just start showing up in your life when you need it the most. And it's awesome, you guys. But there's a lot of stages that you're going to go through. You're not going to understand everything in the beginning, but you want to figure it out. You feel like, oh, the faster I figure this all out, then I can just go back to normal living. That's not the case. Your life won't go back to normal anymore. And you need to embrace and accept that journey. That is an old paradigm. That is an old way of living. You're no longer that person that fits into that mold. And I just think of it like going through Super Mario Brothers. In the beginning, you're the small little Mario, the mushrooms are almost bigger than you, and you jump on the mushrooms, and then you find like the little mushroom man, and then you hit the little box and you get a mushroom and you grow. Well, think of Super Mario as your game of life. Now you've grown. So what happens when you've reached that next level of growth? Is you can handle situations better, you can face challenges better, you're bigger than your obstacles now, and you can go through the levels with extra experience, with extra growth, and it takes a little bit more to knock you down. So like you can get hit now and you're not dead in one try. Now you can get hit a couple times and you can still get through the level. And then you get on to more levels and you get the little star power, you know? I wasn't meaning any weird symbolism with that, by the way. You get the little star power and you're invisible and you can just start plowing through everything and get through stuff. And it's really cool, but it wears out really fast. And you go through that stage. And then you go through the next stage and you get the little raccoon tail and you can fly around. You see everything from a different perspective and it's really cool. And it takes a couple hits to knock you down to where you have to start that level over. And you're not going to reach the next level until you face all the challenges of that level. That is the game of life. And once you can accept and embrace that and go through it as a fun experience, even in the toughest moments, you guys, like this week was tough. There was a lot of tough moments. There was like a dark night of the soul moment. There was all of these things, but I have support and I have community now because I reached out to find it. And you're not alone in this journey, and I don't want you to feel alone. And that is why I am stepping up my game to shine my light, to share my gifts so that you can find yours. I want you to be who you are. I want you to become all that you are. And I don't want you to go through this journey alone. Because it sucks when you put yourself out there and you feel judged and you feel like if ever any of you have gone through this experience of, well, if I put myself out there and I show my vulnerability or I show my weakest moment, that person could hold that against me and see me as that moment going forward. And guess what? They're going to. But at the end of the day, if they want to hold you to that level of standard in their eyes and not see you each and every day for who you grow to be, that's on them. Fuck it. Throw caution to the wind. Go live your life. Because guess what? No one's going to pay your bills. No one's coming to save you. No one's going to take your trash out. No one's going to clean out your closet. No one's going to do all these things for you because they're telling you not to go on this journey. So if you have people that are putting you down, that are holding you back, in your mind, or say it out loud, are you going to pay my bills if I keep this job and I'm miserable? Or are you going to pay my bills if I lose my job? Probably not. Everyone wants to give advice until the advice doesn't work, but they never want to accept the blame for the advice they gave that didn't work. Remember that. Anywho, let's get back to the awakening part. So you're going to go through the scary stages, all the scary stuff, all your thoughts, all your beliefs are all going to start coming out full throttle. And it is scary and it is overwhelming and it can feel like a lot. The reason that that happens is so you can start discovering all the depths of you, all the depths of your soul, who you are, what you actually love, what you actually want, who you actually want to become. Think of it as your guidance. Everything in your life, whether you deem it good or not good, is guidance. That is it. And when you start detaching your emotions from things and you start to not take things personally and you completely shift to a whole new level of yourself, then there is this sense of peace like you never felt before. And guess what, guys? I'm going to say it. It's magical. Very magical. All of a sudden you get to this place and you're like, I didn't know life could be this peaceful. And from that moment on, every experience you go or grow through, you understand the assignment. It gets easier to navigate. You start to have people in your corner. You find your tribe. You realize everything outside of you doesn't even matter anymore. And don't get me wrong, some of the challenges are scary, some of them are frustrating. That's why I say in this episode, it is fight, flight, or what the fuck. Because you're learning how to regulate and calm your nervous system while learning who you are, while uncovering all your limitations, while undoing all your programming. Everything in your life has been programmed into you. And you get to go back and see yourself as that little child who wanted to be an astronaut, who wanted to be a firefighter, who wanted to be a fairy princess, a godmother, whatever it was, but someone told you you couldn't. And it started right there. But if you can go back to that little girl or that little boy and understand who they were at that moment, the freedom that you're going to feel is like nothing else you've ever felt before. And we're all on this journey together, you guys. There's always going to be fear mongering. There's always going to be corruption. This whole world is shifting from 3D to 5D. And all that means is a different vibration, a different frequency. So if you think of fear and guilt and shame, there are these really low frequencies that have these really high and low ups and downs that are very spaced apart. Because when you think of a frequency that is running low, it's very low, it's very slow, but the ups and downs feel monumental. Ride in the emotional roller coaster, get on, get off, yeehaw. The thing about it is when you start to vibrate at a higher frequency, so you start happiness, joy, peace, freedom, love, connection. It's more like this. So for those of you listening on the podcast, go look up frequency. You'll see there's charts on there. But it's very fast, it's very rapid. There's not these big peaks and valleys. You're more aligned, you're more connected, you're more stable. Everything is more of like, I'm riding the wave, like I'm surfing the shore, like things feel great, peace, joy, love. But yeah, I feel like there was a lot in there today, and I'm going to cut it off there. But I also want to do a conspiracy theory podcast, and I would love to have a guest on for that. I'd love to just have a real, raw, open conversation about different conspiracies out there. Hop into the comment section. Tell me what conspiracies that you believe, that you don't believe, that you thought were true, that are not true, whatever it is that has come to light for you. I'm going to formulate this episode off of everything you guys want to hear more of. So, your awakening journey will have peaks and valleys, will have highs and lows. You will be on a roller coaster. You will be on the fight, flight, or what the fuck is going on ride. But this is for you to uncover your truth, your gifts, and who you are meant to be, who you are from the depths of your soul. So for me, who I am isn't Kat. Who I am isn't this silvery blonde babe that loves glitter and sunshine and rainbows. It's not who my personality is. It's not what I wear. It's not where I live. It's not the job that I do. To me, it's being unconditional, being loving, having peace, joy, and freedom. That is who I am. So who are you? Thank you for tuning in today. If you want to go through a journey of awakening, or you're on your journey of awakening, you're doing the inner work, you don't understand what the fuck is going on, reach out to me for a discovery call. I'm opening up 3 one-on-one spots for coaching. I also have a group container coming. I have free master classes. I have free 21-day challenges. I have all of these resources and tools available for you. So if you're somebody that doesn't want to navigate this alone and you want the next 6 months of your life to have a complete transformation, discover who you are, be secure mentally, spiritually, emotionally, physically, financially, whatever it is, I have spots available. You just need to book a discovery call. Everything will be linked in my show notes. Reach out to me on my social media. I would love to connect with you. I'd love to see how I can support you and go on this journey with you, because it is more magical when you do it together. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode. If you enjoyed it, as always, like, comment, share, connect, reach out. I love you so much. I'm wishing you the best of the best today. Thank you.